You cannot do this." Helen Brooks screamed those words across my century-old farm as she staggered back, face drained of color. For months, this HOA president had buried me in fines, threats, and petty suburban edicts. She believed she could rule every blade of grass on my land. She believed she owned the valley. But I had forgotten one crucial detail about this property, and the moment I remembered, her world collapsed. The pickup's tires crunched gravel as I eased down the long drive for the first time in 20 years. My grandfather Edward Hayes passed 6 months earlier, and it took that long to quit my Chicago software job and claim what he left me. The farmhouse stood unchanged, white clapboard gone gray, wraparound porch sagging north where the foundation settled decades ago. Yet everything beyond had transformed. Where corn once rolled to the horizon now sat rows of identical homes, beige and taupe, each with an HOA sign in crisp forest green, Oak Ridge Meadows. I parked beside the old maple where Grandpa hung my tire swing and stepped out into august heat thick as syrup. Under it drifted the scent of turned earth and growing things, the smell of home. A riding mower droned in the distance, suburban him. The screen door groaned the same rusty note as I hauled boxes inside. Dust floated in sunbeams through windows uncleaned since the funeral. The kitchen table drowned in legal papers, deeds, surveys, attorney letters, the battlefield of a fight I never knew existed. I was lugging the last suitcase upstairs when a silver Lexus glided in like a shark. The driver emerged with clipboard and badge, HOA president in gold script. Mid-40s, razor-cut auburn hair, navy blazer despite the heat. Her heels stabbed the dirt with each step. "Excuse me," she called in a voice that expected instant obedience. "This property violates multiple community standards." I set the suitcase down, confused. Community? This is my family farm. Helen Brooks consulted her clipboard like scripture. The Hayes property falls under Oak Ridge Meadows jurisdiction. Peeling paint, overgrown vegetation, visible farm equipment. Violations are extensive. I scanned the yard through her eyes. Weathered barn, wildflower meadow, ancient tractor rusting behind it. Hardly an eyesore by farm measure. Grandpa never mentioned an HOA. Her smile could slice bread. "Your grandfather executed binding agreements in 2018. Noncompliance triggers daily fines, liens, eventual foreclosure." Foreclosure. The word landed like a boot on my chest. I just inherited this place. I need to review those documents. "You have 72 hours. Fines begin at $200 daily." She handed me a packet thick as a phone book and clicked back to her car. I stood on the porch holding a death sentence for a home I had not yet unpacked. That evening I sat amid Grandpa's papers, legal jargon swimming before tired eyes. One phrase repeated, "voluntary compliance period." My phone rang at 9. Caller ID unknown. "Mr. Hayes, Margaret Ellis, your grandfather's attorney. He instructed me to contact you once you settled." "Miss Ellis, perfect timing. The HOA president threatened fines and foreclosure today." "What did Grandpa sign?" A long pause. "Your grandfather played a deeper game than most realize. He said you would remember what matters when ready. Give it time. Study his files. And Mr. Hayes, no one can intimidate you here. You hold more cards than you know." The line clicked dead. I fell asleep at the table, head on survey maps, dreaming Grandpa's voice. "Measure twice before letting anyone move a stake." Morning brought car doors. Through the window, Helen returned with 2 polo shirt inspectors wielding cameras and tape measures. They swarmed like tax auditors, photographing barn siding, counting dandelions. I stepped out with coffee. "Good morning, Helen." She barely glanced up. "Daily fines commence. 200 paint, 100 landscaping, 50 equipment visibility. $350 per day until compliance." The attached map claimed HOA jurisdiction over 80% of what I thought was Hayes land. "This boundary is wrong." Helen's smile triumphed. "Check your facts, dear. Welcome to the neighborhood." I stared until lines blurred, hearing Grandpa. "The land remembers." Week 1 felt like house arrest. Every dawn Helen arrived at 7:30 sharp, blazer armor, clipboard sword. Inspectors measured, cited, photographed. Fines snowballed. Non-conforming vegetation, laundry on the line, disturbed soil from weeding. By Thursday, over $1,000, 10 grand monthly pace. Neighbors watched from curtains, half pity, Half relief it was not them. Susan Miller, 76 next door, whispered while Helen measured my mailbox 3 inches off spec. She has done this to everyone. The Garcias repainted twice, $12,000. How is it legal? Legal has nothing to do with it when paperwork makes you God. That night, I descended to the basement, scent of oil and old wood. A box labeled property records in Grandpa's hand held surveys from 1924 showing 200 acres, tax receipts for 147, including every inch of Oak Ridge Meadows. Journals hinted, let them play house until they show true colors. Memory surfaced, age 12 on the workbench, watching crews plant the first Oak Ridge sign. Why let strangers mark our land? Grandpa rocked slow. Sometimes you let folks reveal themselves, James. Then you decide what neighbors they will be. Helen texted, Monday barn structural review. Non-compliant means demolition. I forwarded to Margaret Ellis. Time to act. Margaret's office smelled of leather and justice. She spread my evidence like battle plans. Your grandfather engineered this. He could have stopped development with one call. Instead, he documented every illegal permit, every unauthorized improvement. Community center, playground, tennis courts, all on Hayes land, all yours. She slid lease drafts, $50 monthly versus $400 HOA, Democratic Board, no fines. Or 30-day eviction for trespass. I signed. Serve them. Process server bill delivered by noon. Helen received hers in the HOA office she was ordered to vacate. My phone exploded. Emergency meeting tonight. Fraudulent claims. Lawyers on retainer. 7 o'clock. Community center packed. Tension thick. Helen at podium. War blazer. Flag pin. We face attack by outsiders stealing our homes with forged documents. Cheers from her loyalists. I entered with laptop. The chairman, sweating, yielded the floor. I projected 1924 survey, tax records, permits issued without ownership check. For 20 years you built on Hayes land without consent. I offered lease terms, $50, democracy, no tyranny. Questions flew. Helen shrieked extortion. Vote. 85% signed leases that night. Helen vanished. BMW unmoved, mail piled. Wellness check found her barricaded, paranoid, 3 days on water and granola. 72-hour hold. Her husband Mark returned shell-shocked. The stress broke her. Without Helen, fear evaporated. Block parties replaced citations. Democratic board elected, fees slashed, garden planted where fines once ruled. Property values rose 15% on the publicity. Helen returned changed, therapy and meds stripping the dictator. She wrote personal apologies, repaid every fine with interest, volunteered at the senior center. The board created ombudsman role. She mediates, never dictates. 2 years later, sunrise gilds the same fields, but laughter rings where mowers once enforced silence. Children garden with the woman who once measured grass with rulers. Pinnacle Development offers $3.2 million for mixed use. Community votes 90% yes with protections. I raise coffee to Grandpa on the porch where Helen once threatened demolition. The land remembered. So did we. What do you think? Was the fight worth every sleepless night, or should I have paid the fines to keep peace? When bullies claim your legacy, do you negotiate or evict? Drop your take in the comments, especially on power, abuse, and whether ordinary folks can still beat the system without losing everything first.